Revenge films.
My name is Michael Smith, 24 years old. 6 months ago, I started dating my girlfriend, Maddie, who I met through a mutual friend. I really wanted to get married, and more than anything, I really wanted children soon. So I got a little carried away, and I proposed. Since the day that I met her, Maddie was always complimenting me for my looks, almost excessively.
Michael, your face is seriously so perfect. You're just so good looking.
Alright, that's enough. I've heard you say that over 100 times already. All I could say back was thank you, and it was starting to get a little bit cumbersome. Then, little by little, for some reason, she started teasing me for the features on my face.
Do people even get noses that sharp? And your chin is way too pointy.
Why do you keep saying that? I'm in a bad mood, so I'm leaving. She kept annoying me about my appearance, so I even left in the middle of a date one time. Does she not like my face anymore? Or is this what they call getting white feet? I thought about it a lot, but I didn't know the reason, and I was getting frustrated. But then one day...
Hey, Michael, I was thinking I want to introduce my friends to you.
Really? Now that you mention it, I've never met any of your friends, Maddie. I was really happy about this sudden suggestion from Maddie, so I invited them to my place, and we decided to host a dinner party. On the day of, one of her female friends, and to my surprise, 2 male friends, came over. I assumed that her friends would all be females coming over, so I was a little surprised, but they were her friends after all, so I greeted them. She said that they were her friends from college, but when they walked in, they barely said hello to me, and instead kept staring at my face, and then whispering amongst themselves. What is with these guys? I thought, and of course, it didn't feel good.
That is 100% for sure done.
Hey, Michael, was it? Do you have your school yearbooks? Also, if you have photos of your parents, then show us those too.
I want to see them too. I want to see them too.
What? Right now? Can't this wait until after we're done eating? The 4 of them kept grinning as they were scanning my face. I had just served dinner on the table, so I denied the requests for now. But then, they seemed to be having even more fun about that, and raised their voices.
Interesting, so you can't show us.
Come on, man, go on, just say it. Mr. Boyfriend, you really shouldn't tell lies. What? What are you talking about? Maddie, what is this?
Michael, you actually got plastic surgery, didn't you?
I couldn't hide my shock at those words. Maddie thought this whole time that I got plastic surgery on my face. I finally understood why she was teasing me about my face, and at the same time, the disappointment was overwhelming. On the complete opposite of how I was feeling, Maddie and her friends cornered me. They kept going on and on. I felt like I was in an interrogation room, being questioned for a crime, and I desperately tried to deny their allegations. I've never had plastic surgery before. Yeah, that sharp nose. You definitely did it, didn't you? Even Michael Jackson would be shocked by that.
And that pointy chin. There's no doubt you had your jaw shaved down. We have all had a little bit of adjustment done, so we know our stuff when it comes to this.
I was getting really fed up by them, saying whatever they wanted to say. But just as they requested, I brought out a few photos of when I was younger. Yeah. Can you choose some photos where you look particularly photogenic? Huh? Excuse me? Why would you say that? Take a closer look.
Michael, I won't be mad, so just tell us the truth.
I was desperately trying to prove the reality, but all of their eyes were intent on getting what they thought was the truth out of me, and they refused to listen. My anger was reaching its peak, but I realized that no matter what I said, none of these guys were going to believe me. So then, if you're going to say so much, then I'll call my brother and my sister.
Huh? What is that supposed to mean? You want your siblings to back you up?
If anything, that just reeks of a lie. It's so obvious you put them up to it. Even after I said that, the 4 of them, including Maddie, were still laughing. I was so irritated and frustrated, and more than anything, I couldn't understand why my girlfriend wasn't defending me and instead was joining in with them to laugh at me. I couldn't believe I got engaged to someone like that. I wanted to cry, thinking about how unlucky I was, but I desperately held it back. I tried to ignore them, and I called my siblings. They both lived in the neighborhood, and when I explained the situation to them, it was a Sunday, and they both happened to be at home doing nothing, so they were able to come immediately. Not too long after, the doorbell rang. My older brother was the first to arrive. Who is it that's saying my little brother's face was made up by plastic surgery?
No way! They look so alike!
When the four of them saw my older brother, their jaws dropped to the floor as they stared in disbelief. That's because I was standing there. That's right. My brother and I were twins. I hadn't even told Maddie about this. We were identical twins that were so similar that even our parents would sometimes mistake us. As the four of them were shocked, the doorbell rang again. As my older sister walked in, her anger was searing as she glared at the four of them. Not only that, but my sister brought her colleague from work, who was also her best friend, with her. She has known all of us since we were little kids.
So you think my little brother had surgery? Are you kidding me? You can't see these three faces that are similar? Or are you going to try to tell us that we had plastic surgery done too?
What? She's super beautiful! I've never seen someone that beautiful! My sister, that the two guys were admiring so much, was actually scouted because of those looks, and works as a model. That means that my sister's best friend was also a model, and my brother was a lawyer who works at a law firm. With these three high-level people glaring at the four of them, they all were at a loss for words. We are a quarter international, so that's why we don't look as Japanese as most people. And you know what? Why don't you guys get plastic surgery on your brains? Because they seem rotten. Wait, who's the girlfriend here? The three of them were shaking at my two siblings' pressure. And as though to sell out their own, they pointed. Maddie must have realized that she had made a ridiculous mistake, and she looked like she wanted to disappear. As Maddie was shrinking there, my sister's best friend walked over to her and looked her up and down.
Do you realize that Michael doesn't have to date you, but there are plenty of other women who want to date him? You invited your friends over to laugh at your own boyfriend. Unbelievable. Before you say anything about my brother's appearance, why don't you try polishing yourself more first?
Were you planning on dumping him if he was ugly? You should go look at your own face in the mirror. And after getting yelled at by my siblings and our friend, Maddie fell to the floor and had started crying. As for her other friends, who were cornering me about getting plastic surgery done, they had the truth dropped on them, and they couldn't even lift their faces to look at any of us in the eye. They had nowhere to go, so they said, "We're sorry," as they apologized and scuttled out the door, taking Maddie with them. Right before they left, the flashy guy turned to my sister's best friend and tried to ask, do you think we can exchange phone numbers?
I would rather die than to date a guy like you with an ugly face and an ugly personality.
And he was burnt to ashes on the spot. As soon as they left my place, I got a call from Maddie.
I didn't know that you had international genes. You should have told me. I'm really sorry about today. You'll forgive me, won't you?
I'm really so glad that I found out you had a hideous personality before we got married. Goodbye. I immediately broke up with her. She kept trying to call and message after that, so I blocked her, and it was over. Maddie had been bragging to her friends and family.
My boyfriend is super good looking.
People found out that the sudden reason for breaking off the engagement was because she had a hideous personality, and her family shunned her for being so vain. At work, she was gloating that,
I'm going to get married and quit.
But her colleagues found out that the engagement was called off, and she became the laughingstock of the company, and ended up resigning. Apparently, she went back to her parents' house, but every day, she's being scolded by her parents for being an embarrassment. Actually, my sister's best friend ended up asking me out, and we started dating. I've known her since we were little kids, since she lived nearby our house, and she said,
I've always liked you. I'm really glad that your engagement was called off.
I was able to meet somebody who would respect me and love me for who I am, and I'm so grateful to my siblings.
How was today's video? If you enjoyed it, please subscribe, like, and leave a comment. Stay tuned for more.